Well, here at the minute, Des, you know, Villa are choking out without Grealish. They're looking absolutely rubbish, whatever. And there's just been so many comical moments that go on there. They've got little nicknames for each other. It's really nice and casual. And it's like people can just tune in and know what's going on in all these different games in like Challenger League or something. I think it'd be wicked.
Yeah,
one day.
You know,
one day.
Maybe we just do our own one about football. Just send me out. I'll talk to them. I talk to the people doing the kicking, doing the
bunch of
cacking.
People that have like never watched football before reporting on football would be the best thing in the world.
It'd probably be pretty good, honestly. Can't be worse than our ramblings.
It turned out to be somewhat popular. I'm kind of surprised.
Yeah, people love it, don't they? Love a bit of Nando's banter.
Build it and they shall come.
Yeah.
That's it. Apparently, there's the main name going at the minute is Castercast, by the way.
Castercast.
Yeah.
Can we just go with Ghostbusters? Can we call it Ghostbusters?
I don't know if we get sued for that one, Jackie.
Maybe. We could spell it wrong.
We could. Oh, we've got 10 players.
Do we?
Oh, God bless.
We certainly do.
Here we go.
Actually there.
Right then,
Right,
boys.
well, Tim's no longer in his sad mode because, you know, Siege is about to start getting played. He knows, he's in the zone, that's it.
All
Tim
I'm doing is
activated.
managing energy at that point. I'm just managing energy.
He's hibernated. He's out.
That's exactly
Winter's
it. I've had a
over.
quick hibernation.
Summer's
And then
done.
I'm just saving it up, ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready now. I'll tell you what, though, this is the natural state of things, right? The kind of the descending order of chaos as you go across the screen. Ace is like a good neutral, or even like good lawful. I'm not quite sure where you sit on this one, Jackie. I think I'm like chaotic neutral. Where do you put yourself?
Chaotic neutral. But in this environment, I'll be lawful good. I'll give you both the game because we can send it live. Get into it. Let's have a memorable one.
Let's do it. Ace, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for this last half hour. It started all right, and I feel as it's gone by, you're just like, I just want to cast some Siege now, boys. I'm on the edge of my seat, Des.
I'm on the edge of my seat. You know, it's a long time to stay on the edge of my seat for, Des.
Oh, I got a name from Fluke apparently in my DMs. The ball, the hair, and the just still there. 1 and 2 half men apparently is another fantastic name. There's some golden ones in there. We'll come back to them.
There is
that was
some
genius. I
gold
love
floating
it.
about there.
Oh, this is why we have her. Creative genius is something to behold, but let's hope we see some creative genius coming into Chalet. As a reminder, Cyclops bullied Soniqs on this map yesterday with the Monty pick. It's all serious games now, ladies and gents. There's a lot rides on the line. Cyclops, if they get this win, they pretty much relegate Soniqs to being stuck outside of the top 2. Cyclops would move up, I believe, to 9 points. Soniqs would stay down on 2. Not really the outcome they were looking for at the end of day 2, but that's the way that this could shape up.
Soniqs are going to come in with their opening ban then. It will be an attacker that they take away first, and it will be Iana. Could be a bold play there. It's usually a little bit of a target when we see the Iana come in because it's so popular with those old-fashioned Ashmains now who have transferred across and get all that utility, get the good gun, get plenty of drone in. She's certainly popular.
Indeed, indeed. Now, we mentioned about the, opportunity for that to come through as a ban. It hasn't been taken away. The Iana was the stronger lead. It was a pretty popular pick yesterday. 0 was the ban away by Cyclops. Same one sticking through here. And it's again one of those where if you're the winning team, it's a big question of if it ain't broke, why try and fix it?
2 defender bans will follow. Cyclops taking the first one. They will take Valkyrie down. Nothing new there. And I would expect Soniqs to probably follow up with a mirror if I had to guess. It comes in awfully quickly. They were prepared and ready for exactly what they were going to do there. It's actually the clash. There we go. Mirror will stay on the board. And they've decided to take away one of those shield operators from Cyclops.
Okay, well, one of them being taken away isn't the end of the world. It wasn't a main staple for Cyclops yesterday. The most played operators yesterday were Mute, Rooney, Ella, Alibi, and the Legion. So, a bit of a change coming in, however. We'll see if it really comes back to impede them in any way, shape, or form. Otherwise, the bans have stayed relatively samey from yesterday. The Valkyrie also following through. We're starting inside of Bar and Gaming with the side of Soniqs. So, Soniqs and Cyclops is going to get me. There's too many S's at the start and names in this one. But Soniqs starting on the defense, Cyclops on the attack, and already trying to put the fear of God into the side of the Soniqs with that initial Monty pick. 6 pick away to the Capitale.
It's going to be like that tough combination. You know when G2 play BDS and you just inevitably end up with like a GDS or a B2 or it's always a tough one. Sonic Cyclops, it's going to be the same thing.
All right, let's see how things shape up. Always see Frost on this site, it feels like, no matter which team plays on it, because Very commonly, you'll drop down 1 or 2 frost mats inside the double window that hops straight inside of sight inside of gaming. You'll have 1 or 2 normally scattered around upstairs just to help protect the player inside a library, or at least hold it down inside of the library hallway slightly up to the north that's currently got a laser gate scattered over it. So, hey.
We're going to have Kenton just applying those ADSs at the top of the stairs there. The reason that they're in place is to try and keep that shield active on the library stairs for the time being. And it's all about holding down library, because there's going to be somebody playing out on mezzanine as well. They've got the hatch open. They want to keep hold of that vertical area. We see a lot of Chalet come down to this area that we're looking at now. Bar gaming, we've got the new balcony, we've got the mezzanine there in front of us. It's all about this area and holding on to it. And the push is likely to come in from the solarium and master side, I would suggest, with Cyclops looking to move across. They've also got Gatorada just straight outside a library there.
Attackers have located a bomb.
They do. Grixer being the one trying to be a little bit cheeky up towards the north side, hanging around Trophy. Black Ray doing his due diligence with the drone as well to see who's lurking around. And I think you would have just seen that wall get punched through. No, there's a man there. Loses the drone regardless on the drive into kitchen. Cooked and baked. The drone destroyed.
They're waiting for an opening kill as we are a minute in. Suzuki and Aigator paying direct attention to the site through the double window there. Rexon going to take a little bit of damage from that Capitao asphyxiation arrow and will drop away and find himself into the connector between the two sites, moving into B ultimately on the frost. I would expect there to be frost mats underneath where we are looking, and there actually isn't inside of the double window there. You'd usually see 2 of them stacked up to prevent the attackers jumping in. Gatorada manages to get that opener onto Yeti.
Yeah, the first opening kill coming out for Cyclops. Hopefully for Soniqs not too rattled on reminders of yesterday. Black Ray, the one creeping his way up here into a great position, by the way. Often you'll see Citizen and G2 when they play on this map, the one who holds outside Mud Door and does a lot of damage, but with the wall being slightly soft at the bottom, it's on to Rexon to shoot into the feet, and Black Ray, I think, hit the deck to try and see what he could find, and finds himself shot in the face, taken out by a headshot.
Good start from Rexon there, but shut down by Gatorada as he gets in with a late trade, finding the headshot. Super locked inside of the connector a minute, just trying to avoid those flashbangs that are coming in, and then he'll look to take the peek onto the plant site, but Suzuki manages to get in, aggress, and find the kill. Can he get another onto the doorway? Not yet. Kanza manages to shut him down. 3 versus 1, and it's Gatorada to close it out. Cyclops come out big in round 1 and manage to get themselves a win.
Ooh, is this where it begins? Is this where it keeps on bubbling up? Imagine if it keeps on cycling out this way. It's only 1 round, but it could bubble up to that point. I'll just have a quick check of myself again, actually, on the current standings of this group. As a reminder, BDS are on 9 points with 3 wins and 1 loss. Cyclops, 2 wins and 1 loss on 6 points. Team 1, 1 win, 2 losses, but one of those being in overtime, 4 points. And the Soniqs currently on 1 overtime win and 2 losses have got 2 points. So yes, Cyclops win this game. They go up to 9 points along with BDS. And then, oh my god, tomorrow gets spicy. Soniqs basically then will be knocked out because 2 points to 9, they'd have to get 7 points. You can't do that as you've only got 2 games tomorrow. They then can no longer make it. Team 1 would have to basically go double on the wins to get themselves over it. So they'll have to beat both Team 1 and... Sorry, not Team 1. They have to beat, Soniqs and Cyclops tomorrow to get through and make it into the top 2. That'll be spicy.
Certainly would. There's going to be a lot to go. Honestly, this is going to be right down to the wire as this group, as are many others, I think, at this point in time. I think I said already, I can't wait to get to the end of the night and just see exactly how the groups are starting to shape up after today's results. Because, of course, mentally, we sort of keep a track on it and who's winning, who's losing, but it's always nice to just see it once it's locked in and exactly how it's going, and you can give that quick theory craft and see who's likely to pick up results where and who needs to do what to see themselves through to the playoffs. Let's not forget that after tomorrow, 7 teams are going to be going home. There are only 8 that will be staying on for the playoffs.
In terms of how this round's shaping up, you're looking at Castle coming through from Kansan. Intrigued to see where these ones get set up as well, where the operative plan is to place down those 3 barricades which you missed earlier on, but the bulletproof still in the back pocket should get popped down inside of the office, as you can see there, right next to the bomb, looking the way down across to the south. What I always find interesting about the attacks here, especially in America, or in North America, sorry, NA, we saw a lot of focus coming in towards the Solarium side for the most part, whereas in Europe, the fight normally comes into the south side and works its way forward. Cyclops taking what I'd probably describe as the NA approach here, starting up on the north side. 3 players currently scattered up to on this side, and it's got Super and Yeti, the ones looking to cause some trouble. That is such a clever read, by the way, because the runouts you can do there, either through the doorway to the north side of the garage or go out those double doors to the left. You do have to impact to open, though, the garage doors, but it was being watched by someone. Really well controlled by Cyclops. They are far too trained in the fires of APAC, I feel, Ace. No aggression is going to surprise them.
Absolutely not. Super just having to hold himself away there as the fire arrow comes in. Anderton manages to repel in and find the kill. Great plays from him. Rexon, however, manages to get one back and keep the Soniqs fighting here, but it's 4 versus 3, and Cyclops have got themselves a good advantage now. They're inside of the map. They've got boots on the ground. They can start applying pressure to the Soniqs on site. Out comes some smoke there from the Capitao, I think it was, just to try and block off that doorway into the bathroom and give them the option to rotate down the trophy stairs. Now, Grixer moving around. He knows that there's one on the window. Can't find the shots, though. And that's going to leave the Iana there to fight another day. No, it's not the Iana. Sorry, they're banned out. I just saw a flash of white and presumed it was the hair, but it's not. It's the hat of Nomad as Ayagator is on the window. Kills raining in both directions. Rexon once again coming up big for the Soniqs, and they need to ride this momentum that he's giving them.
And one kill they'll really come back to Rue, I think, is Grixer not finding that kill onto Ayagator because he's still held onto the spot. It's going to stop the side of Soniqs being able to push their way through. Kansan's going down. Like I say, sometimes it's the smallest things in the early round that can lead to a landslide later on. Ayagator not dying punishes them big time. Soniqs can't even respond. 2 rounds on the bounce for Cyclops.
Of quick 2 rounds at that. They are getting in, they're getting aggressive, and they're getting the kills. Like you say, there's no amount of aggression that's going to scare this team, and they are more than up to meeting it head on. They're going to be moving into round 3. We're going to see another change of site from the Soniqs. They've been to bar and game, they've been to master and office and been unsuccessful in both, so this time it's down to kitchen and dining. I think a little bit of the problem with Chalet sometimes, Des, is when you have to start moving around the sites, it's a little bit difficult because the holds are very similar and the pushes are very similar site to site. It just depends. Do you need to take control of library and mezzanine, or do you need to take control of master and office? And you do largely the same thing from one side of the map or the other. So even when you move down to kitchen and dining, you still need to hold on to some of the same areas.
It's kind of the same across a lot of the map. Like, the extensions are quite similar, or at least the areas of the map you want to hold. Library is normally a go-to #1 location that teams want to play inside of, but here that Solarium set up on the top side really came back to sting Soniqs, who'd invested quite a bit towards the library corridor and trying to hold on the south side of the map. And Cyclops, as we said earlier on, ultimately attackers determine the pace at which it happens, but defenders can kind of steer and encourage or coax the attackers over towards a certain side of the map. And Cyclops, sure enough, were coaxed. They played that top side really, really well. Let's see how this defense of the kitchen site goes now on the downstairs. As you say, very, very similar to what we saw in the previous round. A couple of differences that you might see coming in terms of the commitment or investment of resource onto the ground floor versus the top floor. But otherwise, for the most part, I agree with you. Much the same.
Yeti this time taking up the position on trophy stairs. It was Super last time around that we saw there, but there was just so much utility thrown at him. It made him very difficult for him to stay in position. This time 3 ADSs will try and support Yeti in staying in that position, but there's going to be plenty of attention. We've got Suzuki, we've got Anaton all heading over to that Solarium side once again. We've got Black Ray out there as well, just droning, looking to offer some support, while Gatorada looks to rotate round to the piano window. Rexon is inside of office. Here's the knock onto the barricade, possibly. He certainly comes out there quickly in his ADS at that piano window. Takes the few pot shots through from the library window there. So Rexon definitely aware of Gatorada's presence outside that bathroom window.
Indeed. Looking at how pressure started out, nothing explosive, or at least to a large level inside the first minute. Anderson, the first one going down here. The Capitao being removed, and we saw what damage he was doing when he got inside of Solarium last time. Gatorada losing out on the fight against Rexon, coming in on the bathroom window. Yeti finding yet another. Soniqs really turning up the heat in this round and saying no to Cyclops. You will not be winning any gunfights. You will not be taking any map control. With the 2 versus 5 with 90 seconds to play, sure, it's a lot of time to work with, but something tells me that for Cyclops, this one might be a bit of a tall hill to climb.
I think it's probably going to be a little bit too much. Black Ray and Irrigator trying to move in. Irrigator coming from that basement level, just looking to get some kills. Needs to get a frag or two, just as a little bit of a catalyst, a little bit of a starter. Just move in there and get anything they can. But the problem is now the Soniqs, they're not going to aggress onto anything. They're not going to peek anything. They're just going to hold themselves down, keep those angles locked in, and wait for Cyclops to push. And when they do, they're likely to find their demise. But what a headshot from Irrigator. That one is absolutely special. Hitting him through the metal bars like that in the floor, that is something else.
Pretty magical, all things considered. One coming back, but you lost half the time that you had previously here. Still a big task to face up against. A lot of opportunity for the side of Soniqs here just to play it passively. Wait for those angles. Let Cyclops come pushing into you. You're never going to go looking for these kills. They've got to come to you because of that diffuser being cold dead on the ground. Black Ray outside a trophy. One pushing up from the south, so not quite coordinated in their push just yet. It's almost like Black Ray's waiting to see if someone on Soniqs is going to make the move down trophy stairs. But like I said, there's no pressure on their side. They've got no reason to move. They can just sit and wait for when Cyclops approach them.
Yeti low health, but again, holding his angle. I think it looks like Cyclops are taking the opportunity to have a little bit of a discussion as well. They're not overly aggressing onto this. Black Ray's just holding that window. Irrigator moves in, tries to make a challenge onto Solarium Stairs. Kansan's going to pick him up, and that's going to close out the round with 3 seconds left to go. Black Ray just holds his angle, takes a few shots. He knows nobody's going to come down there, and that's going to be a win for the Soniqs. So it puts them on the board, and it could be the starter. It could be the kindling to their fire, as they might just get this one into a roaring blaze over the next couple of rounds.
Okay, well, at least there's a fight back. We always like to see teams getting around on the board to at least show there's some competition to be brought, because those first 2 rounds pretty decisive, all things considered, for the side of Cyclops. As things play out from here, it's going to be a repeat of the sites that we have likely seen previously. Soniqs not opting to try and repeat a site, instead rotating through the 3 of them so far, finding victory only on the kitchen and dining site through a couple of good early gunfights on key windows. Outside of that, never really a chance for Cyclops to get themselves set up, and they say, right, they've had their 3-round warm-up, boys. Let's really turn the heat up here, because now here comes the Monty. The thing that terrorized Soniqs so much yesterday, this could get ugly.
This is it. Now that Soniqs have got a round under the belt, they're going to try those sites again, and I think we might just see something slightly different from them. I don't think Cyclops are going to come in and run over this one quite as easily as they did last time around. Now, we don't have the frost this time on the side of the Soniqs. They brought it along last time, but we didn't really see those traps having too much of an impact, so they're going to switch that one out, and we've got an interesting mirror position from Super there. That's going to be, I love to see that. Keep hold of the mezzanine and just completely lock down Library from behind that mirror. It's a great play. They've got all the lines of sight opened up as well. It makes mezzanine a very important position, and that's why you've got the castle out on balcony window, because they can't give up that position. If somebody comes in there, they need to make sure they're dealing with it, and that's usually the job of somebody inside of office. They need somebody there so that there's a threat onto that balcony. It's all a bit of a puzzle, and when one piece is removed, quite often the rest can fall.
Or it can take some time to small bleed away, the small sipping away of hope for the side of the Soniqs, and they find themselves bleeding out, especially to the Monty on the push through. Keep a close eye on where he starts his push in, because that's going to be the big one. No doubt looking towards Suzushi on the ace for the plant. That going in behind the Monty once everything else has been set up around it in proximity is going to be the big point of push. Anderton starting out towards the east, currently pushing solo. So a bit different to what we saw yesterday, where they always had someone paired up with him, playing in behind him, playing off the pixel angles that he kind of exposed. Really good coordination was what made them quite threatening. As it stands for now, it's Irrigator up on the top floor, getting control of mezzanine. Anderton making use of smoke on the ground floor for a bit of cover, so he doesn't get exposed to anyone down the main hallway. I like that.
Rexon's just going to keep holding his position inside a library whilst he's supported by Yeti, but the problem is at the minute that Yeti's attention is being drawn towards that double window as it's been knocked out. If there's a push that comes into library, Rexon doesn't have quite as much support as is intended here, because the man behind the mirror, his eyes are being turned away into a different direction. Now Monty trying to push forward, not making too much progress into the main lobby so far, but will be feeding information out. Yeti, important kill onto Irrigator. That clears out the balcony. It allows his attention, I was going to say it would allow his attention to turn back towards library, but Anaton pushing up those main stairs is going to make that a bit more difficult. Toxic Bear goes out and takes a chunk of damage from the Monty, and that's going to slow Anaton down big time.
It's not the end of the world to lose the Nomad once the edge have been at least deployed to some level, which a couple of them had been fired out. Now this is one dancing around these main stairs that lead down in towards Garage. Susie She, something to get this opened up now on the south side of gaming. And Bart Treston's out the mirror window, which should make things a little bit easier when it comes to a push. And with this being open, no one now can comfortably play inside of that stock area, connect to whatever it is you want to call it between the two sites, which should mean for the side of Cyclops, there is the potential for a bit of threat coming in here. Black Ray finding one onto Yeti from up on high. Nice one to bring it back into a 4 versus 4. But again, I'm nervous about the clock, Tim. 33 seconds to play. Cyclops do need to get a bit of a walk on now. Get them legs moving.
They really do. They're only just clearing out library at this point in time, but Suzuki comes in with a big kill there. Traded out by Kansan, 2 versus 3 as Gatorada finds Rexon. Kansan goes down to Anaton as well. Black Ray has the opportunity to put that diffuser down on the ground. He's just going to back away from it for the time being, but as Grixer moves up the main stairs, I think they're probably aware of where he's coming from, and Gatorada closes him down. And once again, Cyclops find themselves with a 2-round lead.
It was quite a slow round, all things considered, with the way that things slowly built up and moved forwards from there, but enough to get them the round win. Reminds me of Liquid, where we got a little bit nervous at points at the very start of the tournament, saying, okay, 2 minutes have passed and you're not really looking to execute now. What's going to happen next? Then it all kind of comes together in the final 30 seconds. Very much worked out the same way there for Cyclops. Where the challenge is going to be on the side of Soniqs is dealing with this Monty. Sure, you've got things like the Legion. You're looking towards a castle. You've got the Aruni to help out a little bit more for throwing utility than anything else. And with the Legion now going away, not too sure about that one, Chief Tim.
Defenders, protect your bombs from
Not too sure at all. As you say, needing to slow them down. Needing to lock down rounds here. The Soniqs certainly don't want to find themselves too far behind, because right now you wouldn't put money on this or against this Cyclops team locking down some defensive rounds as well. If they can get themselves up to 4, maybe 5 attacking rounds, it ain't going to be easy. I mean, we do see a reasonable amount of success for the attackers on the side of Chalet, but I'm not sure that's really what we're seeing at the minute, Des. We're seeing Cyclops that are able to come in, and we've spoken about it already, disrupting organised teams. And they're coming in, they're recognising what Soniqs are wanting to do, and they're breaking it down piece by piece.
That's the way you have to do it sometimes, right? Treat it like a puzzle. Don't try and build the whole picture at once. Put it together one step at a time. As it stands, for Soniqs, they're the ones who need to figure something out. The onus of acting is always on those that have been wronged in the previous round, and now at 3-1, Cyclops are the ones who need to find, or Cyclops need to want to keep on pressing what they're doing. Soniqs are the ones who have got to find the magic answer, the key to unlocking the mystery that's been presented before them, because as it stands, although the Monty wasn't the big driving force in that round, it is going to continuously present a problem to them until it's cracked. Does he even know? Oh, yes, he does.
The red
Power
ping.
Red ping. Forget about yellow pings. Reds are far superior.
Red's where it's at. Ayagator finds the kill onto Yeti, and Yeti's actually had the opening kill himself for the last couple of rounds, so that's a big turnaround for Cyclops there. Able to shut down the man who's been doing well on the entry. Rexon just trying to keep hold of Mezzanine along with Grixer at the minute. It's been a big combo through NAL stage 2, and they're going to look if they can do something here in round 5, but Cyclops have already got themselves that little bit of supremacy. They've got Anaton on the Monty with the shield, and the problem when you've got a Monty on side there is when you're facing up against that, every man that you lose, it becomes more difficult to deal with that shield. If you're in a 2 versus 1, for example, and one of those is a Monty, you should be losing that. So each time you have that attrition, each time you have that kill on the side of the defense, whilst Monty's alive and whilst the attackers aren't losing anybody, it gets just, the difficulty multiplier just goes up and up and up.
Things press forward, and here he is, peeking his way around that corner. It's like when you're playing a game of ranked and you see a Monty walk around the corner and you know you haven't got a C4, anything stopping him, you're just like, oh great, here we go. Headache central for me. And as you mentioned, as the numbers bleed down, as they get picked up as well, he can essentially 1v1 and bully you while someone else tries to set up for a great angle to force an easy free kill that they simply can't contest you on. It's an absolute nightmare to deal with. Here we're down to that final 70 seconds or so, and the only difficulty here for Suzuki really is that he needs to be looking to get the whole wall opened up enough that a Monty can walk through it with the shield up. That is, of course, assuming that is going to be the game plan, because look where he's got to. Force his way all the way up towards the piano at this point. Could just sidestep very comfortably into office if he so chose. Once this Maverick wall has been opened up and they've forced a couple of members back, Super also going down. That's the way forward. In he goes, trying to find one to swing around the corner for Black Ray. It's like a bit of a switch in, switch out. The twitch for the Monty comes in. Black Ray onto a triple in the round. Soniqs, dare I say, Tim, don't really feel like they're putting up a fight so far. It's been absolute dominance by Cyclops in the rounds where they've looked strong. Anaton collecting the final one. Was it a mistake not banning this Monty away?
I think you've got to look at it as a possibility. The thing is, it's not been a key factor in every single round for Cyclops so far, but it certainly was there, and it was a nuisance factor in the last round as well, pushing up and just turning Yeti around. It wasn't decisive come the end of things maybe, but in that round particularly, Anaton and BlackRay just working as a beautiful partnership, going in, Anaton just giving that information. These are the calls, these are where they're located, and BlackRay going in there like a heat-seeking missile, just taking one down after another. It was almost like he was an extension of Monty's pistol, just being told that's where you need to hit next, that's where there's a player, and he just moved in and picked up one after another. 3k on the round, and it's beautiful play from Cyclops so far, absolutely dominating here on Chalet. Just honestly, people are really struggling to get to grips with this team at the minute.
Weird that, isn't it, really? It's almost like they played them yesterday on this exact same map with almost identical bands and got bullied by a Monty there. And oh my god, it's happening again today. Weird that, Tim, isn't it?
It is weird. Like you say, they took the flash out, but it could be the wrong shield that has gone by the wayside. You know, the thing is, there's always going to be reasons for it. I'm sure Iana's gone, and, you know, we could be sitting here saying very different things if they ban the Monty. It could be Iana that's running over him. They could have been dying to nade kills. You know, there could be specific reasoning to that. But the point is, you cannot ignore Anaton's supremacy on that shield on the attack, and it's got to be a major consideration for everybody playing against this Cyclops team from here. For the rest of the major, they have to think about the possibility of taking that Monty ban.
Okay. I mean, I don't know if I don't want to suggest it's like an ego thing, but there probably comes a point where teams have the idea of we can deal with the Monty. We know what we're doing with that. It's not an issue. The problem is you haven't played against a Cyclops Monty so far, and we're seeing the results of that. You saw it in that round, the kind of 1-2 switch. The Monty goes for the one, the reload comes in for the other side. BlackRay steps in and goes for the fight off the back of it. I think quite smartly here, if Anaton does change away from the Monty, they're in a spot where they know there has just been a tactical timeout. Likely for the Soniqs to discuss how they deal with a Monty that has tormented them for a couple of rounds now. Smart thing, I think, step away, gauge out the feel of play in case there's something funky coming out of the side of Soniqs, and see what happens if you need it again, potentially on a future date. But for now, that Monty is parked back in the garage, and that shield will no doubt return unless banned away in a future fixture.
So it's going to be the final defensive round for Soniqs here, and I just can't help but feel, Des, that this one is essential for them to win. If they come away 5-1, it's going to be a long road to climb back into this one. It's not going to be easy because Cyclops, you've got to remember, they're thinking about their position in this table, and they're thinking about the possibility of getting through to playoffs, and they know that closing down 3 points here is a massive part of that. It really does make them genuine contenders to be going through. So if they get themselves 5-1 and they only need a couple of rounds, that means they only need to lock down one site, Des. They just need one site that they can defend successfully twice, and that's it. It's going to be game over. So for me, Soniqs must win round.
Big one to walk away with. I mean, 5-1 for Cyclops in the first half. Wow. How did yesterday end, actually? I didn't see how many rounds they won when I look back at the game. Obviously, it was on the other stream, so we didn't get a chance to catch it. Cyclops, they started on defense. It was 3-3, but they won 4 attacking rounds, and that was the end of the game at that point, because, of course, they had 3 in defense and then 4 on attack. But this has played out the same way. They've got as many attacking round wins now as they had yesterday. It's almost like history is repeating itself, and Ricks are just teabagging the drone there. Say how you see it.
I mean, it's one way to deal with it.
Is it?
Just testing.
I mean, it's still alive.
Just testing his crouch key, making sure that the functionality is there, of course. Irrigator looking to move towards, I think it's going to be main door ultimately. Could potentially go for a trench drop. We've seen him move into the basement a couple of times and try to move through up West Main. Just make himself a nuisance. He's always been on that rappel onto Master as well. We've got Suzuki and we've got, I would imagine it's going to be Anaton. It has been previously playing. It is on the rappel, upside down on the book. Trying to just dislodge Yeti. Yeti's taken some damage there, but will not be moved just yet. BlackRay was on the window downstairs of Trophy, just waiting for that potential rotation from Yeti, but he's having absolutely none of it. He's keeping himself absolutely wedged on those solarium stairs.
Understandably so. Remember Irrigator, the terror of Big Window? Did I tell you that story, Tim?
I don't know, did you?
Oh, I think I might have, mate. You know, once upon a time, there's a story of a guy called Irrigator playing on Window, and this guy called Grixer challenged him. Didn't quite land a headshot, and Irrigator went on to absolutely terrorize his whole team, devour his whole village from that one same window.
I recall.
Look at this again, in another clean spot. I thought you might, mate. I thought it might jog your memory a little bit. Well, here, guess what? He's back in the same spot. It's like they're bringing the story all over again. Maybe, though, it's the second edition where the defenders actually managed to deal with him and he doesn't consume the whole town. Time will tell, because right now there's 3 members of Soniqs all gathered at the bottom of Trophy Stairs, almost like they're expecting something, some kind of burst push to come in from Cyclops, and they want to have a response. As of yet, doesn't really seem to be the play, but heaven knows, maybe it'll work out for them soon.
Out goes the Nitro. I'm not sure he's going to find Gatorada, who's just upstairs opening them up. It was just a little bit wayward in its placement. Always difficult to know exactly where the sledge is going to be moving. It's Anaton to open things on to Super. That takes the mirror off the board and gives Cyclops the advantage again, but only 15 seconds left to go. There's a lot of work for Cyclops to do here if they want to get in and be able to get a plant down. Suzuki has the diffuser in hand and is looking to do that, but look at all the bullets flying across. We've got the bulletproof camera there. The kills come in, 2 from Kansan. Important one onto Suzuki there, just drops the diffuser. 0 seconds, time runs out. Soniqs managed to hang on. Cyclops just can't get that diffuser back in hand to get it planted in time.
Oh, there'll be some there on the timeline, I'm sure, crying about the fact that you've got to pick up the diffuser kit in that case. But realistically, they put themselves in a spot where with 15 seconds on the clock, they had no sight control. It was kind of walk in and go for the firefights. Cyclops kind of uncharacteristically for the first time in that half, stalling out a little bit. But the scoreline reflecting much of what we saw yesterday. If it repeats itself and Cyclops get 3 defensive rounds, they win the game 7-4 again, but they've still got a bit more breathing room to play with than that if it does require something a little bit different outside of the 3-3. Rexon are switching away from the Ying over towards playing the Ace, a more supportive role. Surely you don't bring 3 hard breaches on Chalet, Ace.
Well, you wouldn't normally. You wouldn't expect to, but...
Attackers need to locate
yeah, I don't know about that, Chief. I'm not sure about this.
They're going to, one way or another. The thing is, there's not really much of a hard breach requirement here. In kitchen dining, you've got the one wall that we're looking at now, which is being reinforced by Black Ray there. You're going to want to open that one up more than likely. They may be thinking about the balcony wall as well to try and gain out access into office and just force out anybody that's playing on that vertical angle. So I can sort of see the reasoning, but that should be possible by 1 thermite anyway. You've got an exothermic charge on each. Bring Maverick as well. You've got enough utility there to make that happen. But there could be a comfort element as well. It could just be down to the weapon. It could be down to other factors of utility. You know, it may not be down to the specific hard breach requirement.
All right, well, with the hard switch, Soniqs are the ones on the attack. They've got to show us something special, I think, here. And Anaton's already lying with that Titan killer in hand, daring them to come pushing through a window. There are a couple currently playing on the rappel outside, but none actually pushing inside where he is himself. 2CC dropping the hatch and getting away, leaving Gatorada up there. I imagine he was more just there to open up the rotate for his fellow teammate who's playing up on the top floor. Anaton now springing into action. Surely there's no thought about a jump out or something crazy here. Surely not.
I wouldn't put it past them at this point in time. They obviously feel like they've got themselves into the ascendancy. They're 4-2. There we go. Black Ray just knocking out the barricade, and he's preparing for this potentially. I don't know exactly what the angle is going to be like, how far he'll have to run out to find his man on the balcony, but he just dips away for the time being. He's not going to have any of that. Anaton playing right up on that window, just looking to aggress, and this is what I like from this Cyclops defensive side. They're just not wanting to give Soniqs any breathing space whatsoever.
There's the big change coming into 2021 for them that we all saw over in APAC North, was where normally on a map like coastline, there'd be they'd be quite defensive, quite passive, wouldn't be trying too aggressive. That changed. They were happy to greet attackers into the building, be hyper aggressive, play as a unit. And this is what Hybrid said. I DM'd him earlier on about their play. So I said, you know, what do you think about these comments about you guys being quite shallow? It's predictable. It's like, you know, we have got other styles, absolutely. But this aggressive style, it's catching teams off guard. They don't know how to deal with 3 or 4 members being aggressive so early in the round. If that works, why should we conform to their play style? And I was like, you know what? Completely agree with you on that front.
Black Ray's just going to be picked up on the scan as he moves downstairs, of course, with moving. With the 1D scan going off, it does ping him out for a short period of time. Grixer just looking to hold the angle onto the main stairs up from basement, whilst that exothermic charge does its work, opens up the balcony wall and gives access into office. That's going to force away any defenders who were still in that position. But it's important that the Soniqs do not forget about the Mozzie who is lurking underneath. They know that he was there. They picked up the Lion scan. They are aware of it, and they need to make sure that they don't get caught on the flank. Look at that movement from Gatorada. He's not even shot the Claymore out, Des, and he's got himself an absolute freebie. Anaton's found one onto Rexon, and it's all falling apart for the Soniqs. Beautiful play from Gatorada.
Like a lad who's just ran into a shop, dipped his hand into the sweet jar, and ran out with fistfuls of sweet, sweet goodies. Walked away with 2 kills for themselves, Cyclops and Soniqs. Being a little bit rattled by that, I imagine. Still got some work to do. 1 drone left in the back pocket of Gritzer at this point. Their information game is going to be limited. Great C4 with a double kill coming out. At max range, no doubt, but that is the round ender. Super has got 13 seconds to sit here and stew on the amount of smack he's talked about the APAT teams and what he thought they could do to them. Because once again, Soniqs are getting turned over by Cyclops.
Just no answers at the minute, and Cyclops just playing for absolute fun right now, just dropping away that double nitro at the end there. It's almost casual, Des. They just seem to be able to predict exactly what the Soniqs are going to do. It's probably a bit of information that they've taken away from yesterday's game, and they've just been able to plan forward, and they are just absolutely ruling the roost right now on Chalet.
Beautiful stuff. I mean, if nothing else, it's going to be a sign to a number of other teams in the competition. Don't take Cyclops to Chalet. The first game of APAT North Stage 2, we saw them come up against Fnatic. What did they do? Take them all the way through to overtime and beat them 8-6. Arguably their strongest rivals in the competition. And they made it look like a playground for themselves to run around in. And sure, Fnatic got some good rounds on the board as well. But it was still Cyclops domination the whole way through, undefeated in Stage 2. And they've come to the Major to make a bit of a statement. And it's working wonders. 2 more rounds, they take the win over Soniqs and ensure that Soniqs are going home after this group stage.
It's certainly not looking promising for them at the minute. I'm sure that the Soniqs, you know, you've got to remember, this is a new roster. It's coming together. They're going to be happy with the international LAN experience, and I'm sure that they're going to be seen here again. So, you know, even if that is how it goes here, they're going to take a lot away from this tournament. It's going to be a big sort of learning curve, a big process for them to be able to go and break all that down and squeeze every drop of learning out of it that they can. But they're not going to give up just yet. They're going to want to keep themselves involved here. The problem for them is that Cyclops only needs to find one site now that it can lock down. It wins it, loses another couple of rounds, it can go back there and close it down.
But the crazy thing is, Tim, this one's going pretty fast. I think Cyclops know that for us it's now nearing 2 a.m. And then we still have another game to go after this one as well. Don't forget, we've got NIP coming up against Down 1 Kia in the next game. One more to go on B stream before that same fixture is then moved across to the A stream to be played there. As an extension to yesterday, there were a number of tech issues that didn't let us finish the full schedule. So that game was tapped on to the end of today. So a double bill for NIP and Down 1. You might just find that group's fully decided by the time it comes to the end of those 2 games. Anaton deciding an end to Rexton's life here quite early in the round, about the 2 minutes 15 mark. Straight away on from the mezzanine. A very key spot to be playing and holding here. The Soniqs have now got yet another issue to deal with.
There was a couple of rounds where Soniqs managed to get opening kills. It was Yeti who was picking them up, and they were decent rounds for the Soniqs. And then since then, Cyclops have just been able to completely dominate the entry, and it is not helping them whatsoever on the side of the Soniqs because they're just constantly playing in 4 versus 5 essentially at the beginning of rounds. Yeti going to move in, looking to get himself established in the main lobby there. Takes out the default cam, but he's being chased down by Aegator here, who's going to move through connector and might just find him out. Kansan it will be to find Anaton, and it's falling apart a little bit for Cyclops here, but yet he does get spotted out. Can't find the challenge onto the man in connector. Out comes the nitro, but it won't be successful this time for Aegator as Kansan finds the vertical angle and shuts him down. 4 versus 2 for the Soniqs, and they've got themselves an advantage.
Slower start to it, at least for the side of the Soniqs. Just letting Cyclops be the ones who, as we know, like to be aggressive, get up in your face, cause a bit of trouble. Do like how Soniqs have slowed things down a bit here and haven't gone too crazy now. Suzushi, the one holding onto this south wall. The jammer taken out, which means things are going to open up. Suzushi backing away to play behind on this half wall. 2 versus 4. That's a great shot from Blackray. Sees the head appear and snaps Yeti's neck off with a bullet.
Knew that he was there, was waiting for the moment. The peak came in and his reflexes were just absolutely beautiful. Suzushi just holding a really aggressive line. He knows there's one out on the balcony. He's just waiting for the jump in. He'll take any opportunity. He's got Blackray on the cover. Look at that. That was a close one. He knows he's being pushed from the other side as well. So drops back behind that half wall. Blackray is going to be essential to this as well, so he doesn't get pressured pressured from the door now. Soniqs just taking a little breather, getting the drones out, trying to find these last two men, and the push comes in. Suzuki taking damage, but managing to exchange some as well. Super, he's low health now, 13 seconds. Grixer pushes in, knows where the man is going to be, but he goes out of the window.
God,
he looks for the rotate, can't find it. 5 seconds left to go. Kansan, Super is getting the diffuser down, won't have time as Grixer finishes it off, and that's going to be around to the Soniqs.
3k for Kansan as well. Big going into the round. I got a little bit nervous in those dying 15 seconds that in a 4 versus 2, we might see Soniqs still giving it away, reduced down to that 3 versus 2 by Blackray. But Soniqs staging a bit of a comeback here. Up to 3 rounds. Sure, it's not the mega comeback they need, but at least showing there is that capacity to win attacking rounds. There's still a 2-round deficit they've got to make up somewhere amidst the mess of what Cyclops is delivering to them fresh and hot on a plate. We're going towards Bar and Gaming for our next site.
Cyclops, I think, need to be careful that they don't allow the Soniqs to get too much momentum. If the Soniqs can turn another round out here on the attack, it leaves them 4-5, only 1 behind, and then you're in a slightly different situation as you're only 3 minutes away from leveling things up, and Cyclops don't want to be in that position. We've got some very quick renovation going on from Anaton there, just opening up lines of sight in between the 2 sites, and then a rotation at the end. That is the work done with the Ella shotgun, just allowing that challenge to come all the way through onto the double window. Now, the alibi there, that decoy just being used in a similar fashion to a frostmat, it's not going to have the same sort of impact. It's not about snapping shut on somebody's leg, but what it does is it acts as an information tool. It prevents the hopping coming in through that window, because as soon as somebody does, they break the beam of that decoy, they get pinged out. It's very dangerous then. Somebody can just challenge you through the soft wall, they can make a quick peek, so it's something that you need to deal with really before hopping in through the window.
This Colorado going for a bit of a run around up towards Solarium's side. Is the start on the south side, which sometimes teams do go for a bit of a Villa-esque attack, where it starts with the top floor north side clear, moving down to the south for a clear on the bottom. Appears to be the case as there are a couple of them currently lurking up towards the top. Grixer and Rexon setting up for a take on this side. Didn't see if anyone came in from the campfire side of things, but quite possibly I think the rest to come out down to the west side of the map. A bit of a scatter on the go, and Rexon very smartly here trying to challenge onto Black Rose hanging around West Main. They know they've got to deal with him. They know that he likes playing in this area. It was Grixer versus Blackray in this area earlier on. In fact, it was Blackray who was where the Zofia is now, and it was someone playing inside a kitchen with the drone work coming in, but they ended up managing to get away from Blackray in the end. But either way, you know there's going to be a fair bit of own play coming in on the map, and that's exactly what Cyclops, looking to make use of.
Blackray just needs to be careful there. He's being watched through the drone hole by Grixer, who could well just pick up a few shots into his feet, but he does manage to move away to safety for the time being, using the MX4 Storm, just holding down that angle. Misses his opportunity, really, but does manage to put some damage onto Rexon, who will back away, but he's thinking about challenging again, and Blackray just lies prone, and I don't think he's going to move off this angle again, but it doesn't matter. Rexon predicts the prone and shuts him down. Great headshot, and that's going to be a good opener for the Soniqs.
Oh, another one coming through as well. Good. Just playing it a little bit more passively here and letting Cyclops be the ones to do the moving is working out dividends for them. 2 going down, a 5 versus 3. Gadarada finding one as Grixer comes dropping through. While Santa down a chimney delivers a present in the form of a free kill. Anaton hanging off towards the library staircase here with a shotgun in hand and daring someone to come challenging his way forward. C4 in hand. Suzushi stepping out with it, looking maybe to pull the rip, but not quite. Like a Beyblade, stays in the back pocket for now before it goes out spinning later in the round.
You don't want to challenge that shotgun on the CQC angles, because you're going to lose. You're going to lose just like that. Opens up the rotate, drops down into sight. Could challenge the man on double door. If this is Rexon, I think it is based on the silhouette. If it's the Jackal, it's going to be a dangerous challenge because he's only half health at the minute. 3 versus 3. No, Rexon's on the other side of the map, so it must have been Super that was challenging onto the window, but still, you don't want to go up against the Anaton Ella shotgun combo. 30 seconds left to go. Soniqs need to make something happen. They need to make it happen now.
First EE1D coming out as well. That's the last one for Kansan. Nothing else ready to play with. They have got 3 smokes on side, 1 being deployed. Second, third, all 3 are going down. That's the sign that you need that an execute is down to happen. No! How does this happen? Kansan bringing down his teammate in Super, not the one you want to be aiming for, but going to go for the plant anyway, taking up his responsibilities. Wrexham finds one, Kansan another, Anaton left all alone here, he sees the head, he's just going to hold on, pull
It's
fire,
a backpack.
can't take the man, has to win the next, gets it down, can he get the stop, who's going to win it? It's Anaton coming out with a 2k in the close, a triple in the round, and despite that team kill coming out for a second, it looked like Soniqs might have it, but no, Cyclops to match point.
Boy, that was close. I was a bit worried for him there. You can't shoot the Lion backpack. It is a backpack. It is not part of his body, so it's not going to do any damage. I get to realising that there. But Anaton still able to win it out. Knew that he needed to change the pistol because the range on the shotgun just ain't going to win it out at that distance, more than likely. Coming up against Lion's Vector, it's almost certain that you're going to lose, but what a great play from him. That is going to be one of the plays of the day for me. 1 versus 2, goes to the pistol, gets both kills and disables the diffuser. Big play from Anaton to put Cyclops on 6.
Oh boy, this is it. 1 round for Soniqs to keep the dream alive, to keep their spot here in this major. Again, if Cyclops win this, they go to 9 points. They move up to being tied with BDS at the top of the table. Not a line that many would have said coming into this competition, the Cyclops will be the team going through. Not to brag. I was one of the very few that did. However, still going to see how
Not to brag, but I'm gonna.
Not to brag, boys, but I called it. Just saying. Someone pick up that goddamn phone. Either way, tomorrow is going to be the interesting day because if Cyclops do win this and go to 9 points, Team 1 on 4, again, are 5 points behind. They need to win both of their games. Now, either BDS or Cyclops need to lose both of theirs. For a start, that is kind of impossible because one of those games is BDS versus Cyclops. So one of the two teams, assuming Cyclops win this game, will lock themselves into first place tomorrow. Then you start looking at the next game. Soniqs, for example, they play against BDS. Say, for example, Cyclops wins that first game against BDS and BDS beats Soniqs. Team 1 can't fight for it. The group will then be done and decided. But you'd imagine BDS go on to win both of those games. Team 1 could beat Soniqs and then face off against Cyclops to decide who gets that second place spot. That will be one hell of an intense game.
Certainly will be if that's how it shapes up. Right now, Cyclops, they are 1 round away from locking it down, and they are not going to be looking beyond that. Interestingly, they've gone down to the basement. They are trying to hold down Snowmobile. It's not an easy site to defend, and mainly because there are 4 directions you can be pushed from every compass point. There are walls that can be opened. You've got the external wall directly into the site. You've then got the wall opposite the garage. You've got the trench wall. It can just be an absolute nightmare to try and hold on to it because you just end up in so many lines of sight. Black Ray, for the time being, trying to make life difficult in and around Trophy. Soniqs know that they need to get in and clear him out. They can't come in through that window, really. He's predicting the man moving down the stairs. This could be absolutely beautiful, but the drones come out, and surely the Capitao of Wrexham is not going to push forward into the alibi.
I don't really understand why they're droning in from 3 different angles as well. They've already put 1 drone in, lost it. A second one came in from the north side towards Trophy. Another one came in on actual site itself. If he killed 3 drones there, that's a lot of weighted information coming out of Soniqs. And in fact, already looking at it, look how many drones down they are. They've lost 6 inside the first 90 seconds. That is a lot of information being killed off by Cyclops.
It is indeed. 5 versus 5 still, as we don't have an opening kill yet. Soniqs not wanting to probably be too aggressive here. They know they can't throw away lives because there's no more room for mistakes here. 1 will cost them dearly. 1 minute 15 left to go. No real progress directly onto site yet. We've got Grixer down at Trench. It's looking like a rear-sided push. Yeti's starting to move in on the Maverick. Could potentially look to get a breach, but there's a lot of work to be done here and not too much time.
Was that? Who's that shot out by? Was it this long angle? Oh, maybe it was. The Maverick opened it up and they got rid of the mirror window straight away. Fair enough in that case. It does enable them to play on the reverse angle should they so choose here. But these long angles being opened up, thanks to that hole, should play quite heavily into the side of Soniqs unless we can see the members of Cyclops get a little bit closer and look to play around the center pillar inside of the wine cellar. More Maverick holes being opened up. This one deep inside Trench to get them more of a line through. They want to open a hole so they can start moving their way through. Still 3 canisters in the back pocket of gas, so plenty to work with. Kansan, the real saviour so far in this game, starts off with the opener onto Aniton.
They've got the opportunity now. Yeti has got the hole ready to move in. Super bringing the diffuser in. Out comes the smoke arrows, but Gatorada's got aggressive, pushed up through them. Grixer finds a kill onto Irrigator. They're going to have to do something now with Cyclops as Super starts to get that diffuser down. The cover is in place. The kills are raining in. Rexon with a big double. Can he find the final one inside of blue? The diffuser's been planted by Super, and this is a great attack from the Soniqs. This is exactly what I was talking about. Holding downstairs is so difficult because where is the breach going to come from? You've got the angles from the big garage. You've got the trench wall opened, and Soniqs just move in and pop the diffuser down on the ground. There was cover from every single angle, as there is at the end there. Rexon 3k on the round. Soniqs lock it down and keep themselves fighting for another round at least.
Saw the battle and the damage of those long-range angles. Once that north wall's been opened up, they just have so many angles to push back into those in Connector. The mirror that was playing on the Snowmobile wall, for example. Really good out of Soniqs, to be fair. Gives themselves a bit of a fight back. Again, it's still a tall hill to climb. Still need 2 more rounds back-to-back to keep the dream alive. And Cyclops get the full choice of sight. Currently looks to be kitchen and dining where we'll be heading to next. But first, little tactical timeout for Cyclops. They know they've got the choice here to have the conversation. Why not take it while you can?
Well, this is it. They've got 2 more opportunities to close this out. They've just gone down to Snowmobile. I'm not sure if that was the best choice. I don't know if they were trying to keep the Soniqs guessing, put them on the back foot, do something unexpected, which is something Cyclops have done extremely well so far. But at the same time, like I say, you're just so open to breaches. And once the 2 garage-sided, the big garage-side walls, the trench and the big garage wall, once those 2 are open, there's really nothing to stop you getting in behind that wine rack and putting the diffuser down exactly where Seth did. It's extremely difficult for the defenders to challenge onto because you've got the long line of sight that goes straight into the little connector, so you struggle to move anybody across. If you've already got somebody in position to the right-hand side of that as you look at it from inside of sight, you usually get shut down from the trench breach anyway, so it's very difficult to make any sort of challenge onto it, and that's exactly what happened. Cyclops just fell apart as they tried to push in. It was just pick your poison. Which line of sight do you want to run into?
It's a bit of a hard one. That's why you often see that site being so heavily avoided on the downstairs as well. Not just because of the north side attack, but also the south one. Blue push, the main stairs push, outside of Snowmobile. Can just be pretty deadly when you look at it that way. Worth mentioning, by the way, Liquid have now qualified. They are guaranteed to finish in first place in their group with 12 clear points. Empire and Invictus Gaming on 5 points and 4 points respectively. TSM still on 0. It's all going to come down tomorrow in that group, but that's always a pretty spicy one to see. Liquid have been standout, very clearly the best performing team in that group. The Group B's already all wrapped up, but this one, as mentioned, still wide open if Soniqs can fight their way back into it, because you'd have Cyclops on 6 points, Soniqs on 5, and Team 1 on 4. That turns tomorrow into an absolute battleground, but it does require a fight back from Soniqs.
We're going to be heading to kitchen and dining this time around, where that fight back will continue to be attempted from the Soniqs. We need to get the next 2 rounds to take us into overtime, but the way things have gone so far, you wouldn't like to bet against Cyclops. They're back into kitchen, and this is what I said. Once they get themselves onto 5, they're only looking for 2 wins in one place. Round 7, they win kitchen. Round 11, they're back in kitchen. If they can close this one down, they take the full 3 points and really throw the group into disarray. And it'd be unexpected for most people, Des, I'll give you, that you did make the call coming in. As insufferable as you're going to be, I know that you did say that it would be the case.
I don't know, mate. All that energy's been let out by the podcast.
I'm not sure it will have been.
We'll find out. We'll find out in... Well, it could be as little as 2 minutes where it could be quite a few more than that.
Gatorada just moving around on that top floor again, trying to support Irrigator. The 2 of them up there working together, just trying to prevent the push coming in from Solarium. They are, of course, directly above the site, so they're just wanting to prevent those vertical angles. They've got the Nitros in hand, just looking to get aggressive onto this Solarium window push. There's Yeti up there. There's another one upside down with him. I'm not exactly sure who that is, but there's 2 of them. It's Rexon who's going to actually repel in now. I don't know if the challenge is ready. Out goes the Nitro, and it lands right on Rex, and Irrigator waiting for the perfect moment. He's had a great day with the explosives so far.
Do they know? is the question that Iregator's vaulted over. Oh, if he peeks onto this window. Oh, he could blast that Maverick to high heavens at this point. Depends whether or not he gets the call right on this one if he knows where he is. All he's got to do is creep his way forward the tiniest bit, see where that rappel line is, and this could be everything super. Oh, no. Oh, no, no, no. Surely someone's going to drone him out. Someone's going to know that he's hanging on the downstairs. There's two of them looking to contest the angle. Something's got to happen.
You're absolutely right. There's going to be a kill some which way around. It just depends whether Yeti or Super actually decide to rappel in. Yeti is going to move away, so that leaves the potential of Super, but I'm not sure if he'd actually got off the rappel as well. Anaton manages to find that kill, so that answers that question. 4 versus 2 as Grixer manages to get one back, but it's once again all going in the direction of Cyclops. It's all down to Yeti and Grixer to keep the Soniqs alive here, Des. This could be it. Shut down from Gatorada above. A 3-level kill dropping down there, and that leaves Grixer with it all to do. 27 seconds, and this could be the end for the Soniqs.
20 seconds to go, like you say, in a 1v4. I don't see a way you can do it. It's been like boxing with shadows the entirety of the map. Soniqs, no matter where they look, there's always another angle. There's a little floorboard open someone. There's someone swinging you on a corner. There's someone C4ing you. Everything Cyclops needed to do to hand a double defeat to Soniqs and get themselves almost guaranteed to be in the top 2 out of this group has been done. A big win for them, and for Soniqs, I'm afraid it's home time.
I'm loving seeing this performance coming out of the APAC North team. This is exactly what we've seen throughout the entirety of Stage 2 from them, and this time they're able to deliver it on the international stage. Still nobody has really managed to get a handle on this Cyclops side and how to deal with them, and they continue to take the wins.
It's mental. It's the only real way that I can describe it. Soniqs will be feeling a little bit, not so much rueful, but disappointed in their mind, coming up against teams from a region that many have written off for the longest time. APAC making a name for themselves is one way to summarize it. But for them, again, still a young team. The changes that they've made in still kind of wetting, sort of kind of bedding themselves in. You're looking towards, Rex and Grixer coming in. There's work to do. We understand that. But hopefully for the Soniqs, they bounce back at the next major and we can see them back in fine form.
Yeah, and I think that will be the case. That is the big thing to remember, much like, other teams that have been together a similar length, teams like Team 1, teams like Furia. It's about growing. They're a developmental team. They've only just come together. You don't expect to be turning up at this point. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of disappointment amongst the camp because you always want to do as well as you can. But still, it's about learning the lessons. It's about taking that experience away, and it's about coming back stronger next time. And I'm certain that that is going to be the case for the Soniqs.
Fingers crossed for sure. Let's get Jackie back in on this one because this was another APAC masterclass, my man. I'm sure you got some thoughts on it as well.
Absolutely. Obviously, first one being, we finally got Chalet, mate. I know you were asking for it. You were practically begging, Des. Finally had it. Did it live up to your expectations?
It did, mate. I mean, we've seen... Well, I've seen Cyclops play that a few times in APAC North. I know how aggressive they like to play on the map, and they didn't disappoint. Like ants all over a nest. Every which window, stairway, you name it. They always had something going on. Definitely kept Soniqs busy.
Oh, absolutely. In terms of what we had then over the course of the game, Tim, if we're looking at Soniqs, where were the big core issues here? Just looking a little bit flat in some of these rounds. It felt like they were getting outgunned when it came down to a lot of the 1v1s. The clutch factor just always falling in favour of Cyclops. Where was the issues coming from?
Well, I think the Cyclops, for starters, were winning a lot of the gunfights. They had information on the Soniqs. Just, players like that, it's just sometimes... It's as simple as the players just being with you on that day. Iregator hits a double nitro while falling away down a hatch. Yes, he's played for it. It's just... Everything they've touched has gone right today. A 1v2 clutch with a pistol for Anaton and taking down the Defuser as well. It's just everything that they've tried, it's just sort of been gilt-edged and it's gone their way. It's been fantastic. But the thing is, Jackie, you got to remember you make your own luck as well. Cyclops have come in here. They've been willing to take risks. They've been willing to do things differently. They're just bringing their own style, whether it suits everybody else or not. They're here to do what they want to do. They're bringing the Monty. They're making it work. And it's a beauty to watch.
Absolutely, man. I mean, Cyclops rocking up to the party. They've looked good. They've said to Soniqs, hey, Squire, adjust your attire. Because they were clearly not dressed for the occasion, Des. We can see the two big fraggers here on the side of Cyclops as well, head and shoulders above anyone else on the server.
That's the weird thing, right? Is coming into the whole competition, all eyes were on Irgator. He was the top-ranked player in APAC Stage 2, and even in this game, very quiet. In fact, hasn't been any higher than third-rated on the team across the whole competition so far in all 4 of their games, but that's okay when you've got Gadarada and you've got Blackray that are hitting their shots and doing the hard yards. But imagine if Irgator wakes up coming into playoffs as well. This team will be formidable, and I'm pretty sure Aniton has got himself a good few fans after that Monty drop shot.
Oh, absolutely. Thing is, right, I suppose you've kind of hit the nail on the head in the sense that if this is Cyclops playing like 75% power, when they've got full AA batteries in the back, Tim, I don't know what's going to be going down with results like that coming out.
Well, you know, that's exactly it. You've got to expect that there's a little bit left in the tank here. If they've got one eye on the playoffs, there's still going to be things that they're going to want to come and surprise teams with. And the question is, what is that going to be? Because they've been absolutely lethal so far. And as they go, the further they go, the less fear that they play with. Because they'll come into this tournament having an expectation. And that might have been, let's try to make it out of groups. That, you know, anything beyond that we'll call a success. And as soon as they reach that point, the fear drops off because everything's a win from that point. You know, there is no losing from there because they've done what they set out to do and everything's a bonus. And this team could grow in power.
Oh, absolutely. And something that is going to be a win for all our late night LATAM fans is the fact that we finally get NIP's B-Stream debut as the last game of the night. Game 7, our last best of 1 to round out what has been a splendid day of Siege. We'll be back when we come back after the break. That will be NIP versus Damn One Kia. Do not miss it. We're back in a bit.